Welcome to Barely Maintaining, the ultimate podcast for die-hard Chicago Bears fans. Join your host, Ryan Burheit, and me, Michael Guyton, as we dive into all things Bears. From game analysis and player insights to the latest news and fan stories, Ryan and I cover it all. Whether cheering from Soldier Field or your living room, Barely Maintaining keeps you connected to your favorite team. Now, let's get ready to bear down. Welcome, everyone, to episode 23. Can you believe it? We made it 23 episodes. We're still here. Still talking about the Bears. We have a loss to the 49ers to talk about. A Monday night game at the Vikings coming up. We'll talk about. Got player stat trivia. And, of course, talking about the future here of what we think where the Bears are heading. College playoffs. It's kind of settled down here, and the Heisman winner was just announced. So, That being said, there's got to be some news from around the league. I know Bill Belichick's going somewhere. So, what is the latest around the league?
Yeah, so we got Raiders Max Crosby. He needs ankle surgery, and he's out for the season. So that's kind of a big loss for them. Not that they were really competing for much, but definitely
huge
rough.
Oh, anyway, so he can come back early.
Yeah. Let's see. NFL fines Isaiah Pacheco and Rashid White $45,000 each for the use of their helmet. Must be lowering their helmets, and I didn't read too much into it, but I would assume, because technically as a running back or whatever, you're not supposed to be able to lower your helmet either. That's supposed to be technically like a targeting as well.
I've always wondered that, and it seems like it happens a lot. I mean, because that's kind of what you do. I mean, I guess you're supposed to put your shoulder into them.
Yeah.
When you're running through that gap, it's like your head's down pretty low.
Yeah.
Actually find him, huh? That's and 45,000, nothing to balk at, really, but
yeah. Bill Belichick, like you said, is going to North Carolina. Did you see the press conference at all?
No. I was going to ask what your is too. Like, do you think he'll be a college coach? I mean, I have trouble seeing him recruiting.
Yeah, but I feel like at the same time, like you see, like all he's done in the NFL and stuff, like how accomplished he is. Like, it's hard not to go
to him.
Yeah.
But you're also at not football school.
Yeah. Well, they want it to be a football school. I mean, they've had quarterbacks the last few years that like they think are good, and then they kind of get to the NFL and they've fall flat. Maybe they're just trying to look for that next step for their team.
Yeah. And they're ACC?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, so I feel like the door's open for a team to kind of step out of that, and you could easily be in the college football playoff, if Belichick, if his name recruits. I don't know. Do young kids even care?
Yeah.
You had a year in Patriots?
Right.
You had Tom Brady, and didn't do very good without him.
Yeah. That's going to be a tough part for sure.
I don't know. It's weird. And he's like he's in his late 70s with a 24-year-old girlfriend or something, so.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot on his plate.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how you relate to college people.
Yeah. Let's see. We also got Ryan Clark fires back at Aaron Rodgers' criticism of ESPN and calls him a fraud.
Shit. Always like Ryan Clark.
Yeah. 49ers have decided on Brock Purdy's future as a franchise quarterback. Looks like they're kind of extending him and kind of moving forward with him.
Do you have a choice? I mean, what's your alternative?
Yeah, you let him go and you let him become a great player somewhere else, because he's obviously a good player. I mean, he's even the team's down, he's still making other wide receivers look good. It's just obviously not as great. I mean,
and he's got you to the Super Bowl twice, or at least once, right?
Yeah. Once, and then injured like the game before, right?
Yeah. So
that's their season.
But my question would be, who do you replace him with if that's why that's your guy, whether you want it to be or not?
Because you're not getting a high draft pick right now.
And if you did, last time you took Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Third string in Dallas.
Yeah, which is crazy.
still backing up Cooper, whatever.
Yeah, that's crazy how they just gave him a shot over Cooper Rush at this point. Like where
He
the
must,
season's gone at
he
this point.
must,
Yeah,
he really must not be. I mean, because now you've had multiple coaches that have multiple looks,
right.
and he got injured early on, so maybe he just never came back, and maybe that stunted the development. I don't know, because
Yeah,
I think he was a prospect out of college.
yeah,
I don't really know. I don't really know too much about him other than I know we kind of had Justin Fields against him early on in both their careers, and Justin looked like the better quarterback to me.
yeah. You know what's wild too is how tough the NFL is. I would say on like as they should be on like sexual harassment allegations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This says rape allegations against Jay-Z won't impact NFL's relationship with music mogul. Goodell says.
Yeah, I mean, are you surprised that
No.
they use their? I mean, that's pretty much any corporation, I would say, and they are allegations at this point, so I
Yeah.
guess
But
time will
I
tell.
just like any player or anything that has allegations like I mean look
Yeah,
at that punter Matt Araiza.
yeah.
Like he was ran out of the league. He was immediately dropped by the Bills and then come to find out all of it was false. Or what was that Baylor kid? Not kid because that guy was a fully grown man at like in high school, but uh
These guys you're talking about though are worth $1 billion.
yeah.
That's the difference.
It's still crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh
At all. I'm just saying, like they pick and choose their battles.
yeah. And then like we kind of hinted at a little bit, the Heisman was announced and it's Travis Hunter. Um, I'm kind of back and forth on how I feel about that, but obviously he's a great player, so kind of I wouldn't say he's like non-deserving. It's just like I don't know if I necessarily would have picked him if I was somebody picking, but still a great player. It's just it's hard. I think it was kind of a hard year for honestly some Heisman choices because you had some good quarterbacks that obviously fell short a little bit here and there, or their team wasn't necessarily as great. I kind of talk about that. You were kind of pushing for Vandy's quarterback to win the Heisman with how well he plays. It's just obviously
Yeah,
kind
I
of tough.
fell off, but yeah. And then honestly, I was rooting for like the Ashton Genty just because I mean the type of guy he is. I'm showing up in New York and wearing his school gear when everyone else is wearing like Gucci suits or whatever.
Right.
And wearing like a pullover and just kind of putting that team on the map to me a little bit.
Yeah.
As far as the guys go, not that the other guys aren't great, and I mean you're battling quarterbacks typically usually for the Heisman. So Travis Hunter is an interesting one. I think they felt like they wanted to do like a Charles Woodson and you know
Yeah. Definitely.
shake the world up a little bit of Heisman. It wouldn't be a quarterback, wide receiver. As a wide
Yeah.
receiver, I don't think it's just been running backs and quarterbacks really.
I have to think back. Didn't the Alabama wide receiver win it? Uh, Smith maybe?
I don't know.
I can't remember now. I thought he did. But that kind of wraps up the. Like they did bring up the Denver
Yeah,
paid
you're right.
Russell Wilson 84 million to go away. Now he's headed for trying to head for a title, which is funny just to keep thinking about. Is they literally paid him all that money and then we're like, okay, he can have him basically for free. He does nothing. Oh wait, he's actually gonna go try and win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah. I still have my questions with him though.
Yeah,
I not bad. I mean, he's a serviceable quarterback, but they have a good defense and a great coach.
yeah.
So,
Tomlin can
and
make a average quarterback look amazing.
I was looking at it today because one of your former coworkers and my current ones is a Steelers fan, and they've had three coaches in their existence, and they're
Really?
all 66% winning at least. Yeah, it's Tomlin before him was Cower, and then one other dude before him.
Whoa, I
I
didn't know
mean,
that.
there was some other coaches early on, but basically three guys in the last 60 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So that makes it a lot easier to like build a good organization. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
picking good winning
Right, and
coaches.
you're riding with him on like the low years, which his low years are still he's still above every year he has at least a winning record, right? Or at least a split record.
Yeah, if he's 500. He's a winning record every year. That's like their claim to fame.
Yeah,
Never had a losing record, but
yeah,
a lot of years they're 9-8 or whatever. You know what I mean? So
right.
it's it gets annoying, I'm sure, in that fan base when you're not getting over the hump.
Yeah.
Oh, but football's a rough game like that. I mean, you're a couple injuries away from really sucking. I mean, every team.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this freaking loss to the 49ers because it was a butt kicking.
Yeah, it was.
We went into San Francisco and looked like a team that just lost their head coach. Really.
Yep.
Let's just looking through the numbers real quick. Let me see here.
I wrote down a bunch of notes and I can't find that notebook.
Rushing was abysmal. 21
Yeah.
rushes for 68 yards. That's between Swift, Williams, and Darrington Evans towards the end of the game in junk time. Caleb Williams was 17 for 23, 134 yards. No interceptions. Again, 2 touchdowns, but none of that really happened until the second quarter or second half. Moore, Dunze, Allen, Homer, Johnson, and Swift all caught passes. None for very many yards. Total, I mean, totally yes, but not. I mean, the longest one was 17 yards. To
Right.
Dunze. I think the plate got a lot fuller for Thomas Brown.
Yeah.
And the defensive side really suffered from it. They were running all over us, really. They had 34 rushes for 131 yards, but it felt like Gurendo was just running all over us. He was only 78 yards, but he had 5.2
Really?
average. So, yeah, he was averaging 5.2 though. So it's like
He's a good running back. Their running back room is loaded.
Yeah, and they keep getting lucky because now like we don't know what's the future of Christian McCaffrey with
Right.
injuries and stuff. It's like you got a guy to fill in for him now that's like as good as the running side, not so
Right.
much of the Swiss Army stuff, but
It looks like Debo's on his way out there because he's just been lackluster.
Unfair share of issues. One of the guys I saw just quit in the third quarter, their last game against the Rams.
Yeah. That was weird.
Now the whole team
Campbell
just like
or something like that, right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
because like one guy got shot earlier in the year and he's playing like Trent Williams had
And
a
he's
stillborn.
good. That receiver's good too.
Yeah, I actually him, especially since he just got shot in the stomach or whatever, like
Yeah.
Earlier this year. So what were your thoughts on what was up? Why it looked so bad?
It looked awful all around. It looked like at halftime, like the team had just given up by that time. Like it didn't look like they were even trying. Like and then even
Yeah.
before that, like wide receivers weren't catching the ball. Like there was a lot of passes where Caleb was hitting the wide receivers in the hands and like they were just dropping it. It's like those were perfect passes that hit them directly in the hands and they just didn't take it anywhere and they just dropped it to the ground. And it just was mind blowing how much the team just looked like they didn't care anymore. It's like this is what we have to watch for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Especially since it still feels like Caleb and a lot of the offense is trying their hardest, and not the receivers end of it, but I feel like DeAndre Swift was still kind of trying to run hard, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It lacked enthusiasm, though, to say the least, and it definitely felt like Thomas Brown wasn't going to be a head coach if it looks like that continually. Yeah. If this is your audition, it does not look good. And I like his style. I like what he kind of did for the offense over the last couple of weeks, and and we would have won if it wasn't for some bad, I think, clock management and just overall leadership.
Yeah.
But Does it get any better on Monday night, do you think?
Not for the run game. Uh, from what I'm seeing, it looked Roshan's out Monday.
Yeah, he was out this last game too.
Yeah,
So,
he's out this
so
week as well with a
what is his injury? Do
concussion.
we know? Oh, concussion. Oh gosh.
Yeah, I don't know what our team is doing with these concussions and why they're out so long, but and then DeAndre Swift is questionable with a groin.
Jeez,
So we have
Travis.
Travis Homer starting, which I love Travis Homer as well, but I'd much rather have Swift and Roshan.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're
At
gonna
least
have
he
to,
runs hard, and it seems like we get a little boost from him.
yeah. And like
Honestly, even
they were killer for the first game against the Vikings.
yeah, even Torrey Taylor did not look good. By the way,
Yeah,
think of total punts. 6 punts, only 2 inside the 20.
I will say though, one thing I will know, like it kind of screws over Tory Taylor because his all goes off of like net average,
Yeah,
but the return team, like the punt team, I guess is what you call them. The first
yeah,
guy there is always so fast in there every time, but he cannot tackle. Have you
yeah.
noticed
Gets
that?
run, it's thrown down. Yeah, every time, dude.
Yeah, he
So,
literally, you can guarantee he will be down there every time. And I can't ever catch who it is, but he will be down there every time, and then he just completely misses the tackle and is flying around him. It's like, okay,
yeah,
that right there would save Torrey Taylor's average, which obviously it's not all about his stats by any means, but
but
so many
it
of his
also
punts
is,
would be within the 10 and 20 yard line if that tackle
and
happens.
it's such a perfect example of why we're not a great football team. It's little
Yeah,
stuff like that, and
yeah,
it's not overall. Um, which is like, is it just leadership, or is it, is there a bigger issue, which is like, uh, coaching and culture?
yeah,
'Cause I'm starting, like, again, like you said, I'm a big, huge Poles fan, but I'm starting to slip away from Poles being a good GM. I mean, you're making some bad moves, and especially some of the picks. It's like, yeah, you've made some good ones. You
yeah,
found some like good fourth rounders and stuff, but also you did a deal for Chase Claypool,
yeah,
who's basically out of football already. We've uh he just rolled with Eberflus a second year and let him pick 2 lame duck offensive coordinators. Um, yeah, and then kept rolling with him even when he continued to lose instead of breaking us out of that losing streak
yeah.
earlier on.
And to mention as well, something else he, in my opinion, screwed up is it would be really come in handy on Monday since two running backs are hurt. The one
Yeah,
we just gave away and haven't
the one
seen him on the field at all.
the Bengals getting some more time,
Yeah.
fumbling. Let's tell them about the Happy Can. Do we have it by the numbers this week?
No, they haven't done one this week.
Oh yeah, they don't want to see the number. There is no by the numbers. Well, we'll tell you about Happy Can. We'll come back and talk about. Well, I guess we'll talk about this Monday night game that we have coming up because we also have some college football to talk about as far as the playoffs. I want to get your opinion on who you think is going to be crowned national champion, as far as what it looks like right now. Anyway,
Yeah.
who
While you
has
play
an easy?
that, I'm gonna try and grab my notebook really quick that I wrote a bunch of notes in from the last game because I had some
Yeah,
stuff I want to talk to you about that I wrote down and I just lost the notebook. So
yeah.
while you play that, I'll be right back.
Yep.
All right, Bears fans, before we dive back into the game talk, we've got a shout out today's sponsor, the Happy Can.
Yeah, if you're looking for a refreshing way to unwind after a long day without the alcohol, but with all the chill vibes, the Happy Can is definitely where it's at.
Happy Can is a lab tested, vegan friendly, alcohol free beverage that's infused with THC and CBD. Whether you're kicking back at home or catching up with friends, it's the perfect way to relax without the hangover.
Exactly. It's crafted for those of us who are over 21 and want to enjoy the benefits of THC and CBD without any of the alcohol. Plus, it's delicious, responsibly sourced, and did we mention it's vegan friendly?
Yep, no sketchy ingredients, just pure chill in a can. So if you're looking for something new to sip on, grab yourself a Happy Can and keep those good vibes going.
Make sure to check them out on buythehappycan.com and use code barelyhappy for a special discount for just our listeners. Cheers to a happy, healthier way to unwind.
Happy Can, because life's better when you're chill.
Make sure you check out the Happy Can. We both really enjoy drinking those. Good stuff. It is chill.
Yeah, it'd be a great stocking stuffer as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Julie just came out here to talk shit that I didn't know where that notebook went, and then was like gonna go right to where it was, and also couldn't find it. I always like when that happens, where it's like oh shit, where did I put it? That's right in front of people's eyes, and she knows exactly where it's at, and then she doesn't know where it's at.
Yeah, I do that. I call it hiding my own Easter eggs. I do that pretty much with every aspect of my life. I haven't. Yeah, I constantly lose my keys and my wallet, and I lost keys to a car one time and had to go buy new keys.
You just go. Oh, I guess we're out of keys at this point.
Gone for a year, and then I just found one underneath the couch, so now I have extra keys. I don't even have that damn car anymore. Now I'm going to try to find it.
just go around looking for it.
Get my car
I
back.
didn't see it in that pile.
So yeah, was there anything in the game that actually was? I mean, Kittle looked good.
Yeah. Well, I was just writing down stuff because I was like, I mean, when there's really not much to look into, it's just like, well, I guess I'll look into the little things and try and like dig deep.
I've seen Kittle do good, but man, does it have to be at our expense? He's just catching everything.
Yeah, we really suck against tight ends.
Good ones.
Yeah, because like Hawkinson's probably going to destroy us this week again because he was a shining light. Other than Addison, I mean, Addison and Hawkinson will probably light us up. We'll do a great job at locking down Justin Jefferson, but
he only had 5 receptions. Oh well, for 138 yards.
Yeah, he didn't need more than that.
His average was
crazy. The
1.6.
Yeah, it's just crazy at one point that stat that kept popping up. That's like 49ers yards, 200 and some yards. Bears 2. It's like, what? How do you have 2 yards? How do you have this many drives?
Like, we have 2. Twice as many as we had.
Yeah, that's just crazy. Like, just little things like that.
It is hard to watch, man.
Yeah.
Come on. Okay, if we lose, dude, can we at least be in the game at one point during the game? Like when it's 0-0, can we be competitive then?
Yeah.
Instead of 24-0 and we're okay.
Okay.
Let's go on, boys.
Yeah, and like this week I will miss the game, so I'll have it recorded because I work the second shift while it's gonna be on. So I'll have it recorded. Yeah. It's like I don't even know if I want to go back and watch it. Like, am I gonna want to watch this game? Like, this is crazy.
Is it gonna be time, or can I just watch the 3 minutes of? It's funny because you watch like teams highlights, and ours is like nothing.
Yeah.
You can watch 15 minutes of highlights of freaking Ravens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like ours. Like, here's the 3 plays we did good.
Yeah. It's like these ones
and
we played well.
I don't know. It just didn't feel like. Obviously, it's not winning football. I mean, it didn't feel entertaining, at least a little bit. I don't think. Do you? So I guess while we're on that subject, who are you high on as far as coaching for the next round? If it's not Thomas Brown, it's not looking. It's looking like a little too much for him at this point.
I honestly think you need a guy like I could care less if he's defensive minded or offensive minded because I really don't think that matters at the moment. I think what matters is you get a guy in there that can help polls out with the GM part as well. And what I mean by that is like somebody that's great at scouting, knows the game of football really well, and then is just like gonna bring the guys together and make them play hard. Not bring the guys together and be best friends with each other. Bring them together, make them want to win every week, do everything they can because you have a good team. Like other than like we've talked about, other than a few pieces that you got to get together, like your offensive line and maybe that interior defensive line, and then some depth. You've got a great team. Like it's hard to say that you don't. So like
Yeah. On polls, right? Because the talent is finally there.
yeah.
It's just coaching. I mean, we're missing some pieces. Don't get me wrong. There's some offensive line, defensive line issues, and we've had some injuries as well. And I think our defense has not looked the same since Billings went down.
No, it hasn't.
There, to be honest with you, those two kind of are huge.
Yeah.
But you know, I think you're right. I think there's enough talent there. You don't blow this thing up. You add some pieces to it, and somebody who's maybe a little bit better at evaluating some of the back end stuff, like Nate Davis not wanting to play football kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, he might be a good offensive lineman when he's all in, but is that guy all in? You know what I mean? Why do you take that risk?
Yeah,
that
and
much
a coach that's willing to like walk upstairs to polls and say, hey, this Nate Davis guy does not want to play for us. I don't want him on our team. He's ruining the locker room. He's doing this. And, like, not be afraid of that. Like, it always seemed like Eberflus had to tiptoe around those things because it's like, no, we're doing our best. I told the guys that we're in the position we want to be in, and this is what we're doing good, and not like going in there and screaming at them when we're down however much to like the Patriots game. I texted you during that game and was like, this pisses me off. His after halftime speech was like something about, oh, we're all rallying around each other, and it's like, you're getting beat up by the Patriots, who are not the Patriots that everybody used to know.
I went in there and I told him what the score was.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we know what the score is. What the heck are you talking about?
Yeah. So, and then never talk about adjustments or anything like that. It's just the crazy. I personally like the John Gruden swirlings lately.
Do you?
Yeah.
I was going to ask what are your thoughts on Belichick. You think he's going to be a good college coach? I mean, do you see that guy sitting in someone's living room and telling the parents like he wants their kid to? I don't see him on the recruiting trail as much as him being like a.
Yeah,
I guess
but,
like you said, it's more about his name and them coming to him, right?
Yeah, and really think about it. Like, who's Belichick a lot like? That was a really, really good college coach and really, really good recruiter that you are a giant fan of.
They were on the same squad.
Yeah.
95, I think, 94, 95.
Belichick would call Nick Saban to see if his player was worth drafting or not.
Yeah. They were on the 94, 95-ish rounds.
Yep. That freaking team that had everybody.
Ferentz was on that team.
Yep.
Like, what was he doing on there?
He was offensive line coach, which makes sense.
Not paying attention to the plays they're running.
No. Offensive line coach, though. Or paying too closely attention because he's still playing the same type of football.
3rd and 15, run it.
Screen pass. Punt it. You know what? We might as well just punt it on 3rd down. We need that field position change.
And they are in the ACC, so
yeah,
I feel like
that's winnable. ACC
totally.
I mean, your winner this year was either SMU or Clemson. Obviously, Clemson won. We know that already. But like, those were your two teams. Like, not to downshred those teams, but Clemson. I don't know what the heck happened to Clemson.
I think both of those teams. I think SMU is going to run to. I think they're playing Penn State in the.
I honestly think they could beat them.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you run into a buzzsaw here.
You got to think though. Penn State plays down to who they're playing, and
That's
James
true.
Franklin cannot win a big game.
Pretty good team.
Yeah.
I felt like.
But they play to who they're playing.
I think I'm a little bit bitter because SMU I feel like shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
I mean, a 3-loss
Alabama.
Alabama.
As the other person that I know that's a Bama fan, but.
Yeah, but it's funny that it's 12 teams and we're still fighting over who the third team.
Yeah.
12 people.
Yeah. I think the committee heard the outside roarings of like, you guys always just tell Bama they're allowed in, kind of thing.
On the boat of we did not deserve to win.
Yeah.
To be in based on that one loss, and mostly everyone said 2, but the 2 losses. No, we had 3, but there's 2 big ones there, and the big one for me was Oklahoma because we didn't score any touchdown. We let that unranked team walk all over us
in the season. Like, it was one thing to be like, okay, Vandy caught you guys, but also Vandy caught others as well.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
the
for sure.
late in the season, like you guys got past that.
Well, that out of people's minds, but still, like, dude, if you lose like that to anybody, that's gonna stick in people's minds, man.
Yeah,
You didn't score any touchdowns.
yeah,
Scored a field goal that whole game. It's like, yeah. I was glad I was at a Harry Potter Symphony Orchestra movie
yeah.
presentation.
I was
That
talking to you too about the SMU Clemson game. Like, I think the reason got in is because they were down by so much, and then all of a sudden they freaking kicked on the Jets and were like, we're making this a game, and almost won that game, other than a
yeah,
crazy
yeah.
return that would turn into a field goal. That was a long
Honestly,
field goal.
I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they had the death penalty
Yeah,
in their hit, which I mean means the no football program for many years. So
that's a great
to
storyline.
be back in it, and the funny thing is they lost their team because they were given to buy them like Cadillacs and stuff to come there, which is like what we do now.
Yeah. Didn't
So yeah,
only
I just
like
think
them and then like are they the only ones that ever gotten the death penalty? UAB
they
just
are.
got rid of their school for a while, right? They
Yeah,
did
I
it
think
on
that
their
was more.
own.
Yeah, that was more of an internal thing. But the NCAA took away their football program, which was
Yeah.
all the death penalty. I think they're the only team to ever have it. Yeah. So, what do you expect coming up here? We got a game against the Minnesota Vikings, who, I mean, I would say was winnable, but now it doesn't look winnable based on us, not them. They haven't really done anything to show me they're great, but they keep winning games.
And the Vikings want to win this game because that clinches their playoff berth.
Oh, we need to spoil it, dude.
Yeah, which is
But
what I
I
would
honestly
love.
care if we're gonna have 3 picks based on Carolina's second round pick. And if we have them early, we'll have 3 in the top 50,
Yeah.
top 40, really.
The only game I really care about anymore at this point is I really want to spoil the Packers. Like if we could make it to where they didn't make it in, that would I would say we won the Super Bowl for the season. Like that's the replacement Super Bowl for me. Like beat the
I
Packers.
said it to. I don't care if we win any games except for Green Bay. Really,
Yeah.
that's the one. I stop losing to them, man.
Yeah.
And then we just got a blocked field goal. You kidding me?
Yeah, in a game where we had like LaFleur like confused and had him like, okay, what like he honestly looked frustrated because he couldn't figure us out for a little bit.
Took the trust fucker. Yeah, he made it. And I was like, actually, LaFleur don't look at like we might have a better coach on this day. No, never mind. Especially since we settled for the field goal instead of trying to step on their throats. And a couple guys I was talking to, they're like, like, he could fumble the ball. Yeah, he could, but we could also get a field goal blocked. So why not just march them,
Yeah.
step on them,
Yeah.
get a touchdown. Don't do what we do in Madden. You know what I mean? When I get mad, I go into Madden and just beat Green Bay like 64-0. You know what I mean?
Right.
Put it on rookie and just go nuts on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want in real life. I want some anger. Like, why isn't it pissing off McCaskies that we haven't beaten Green Bay?
Yeah. Why is it not pissing them off that we're continuous years where we're just lackluster in so many ways with actually a good amount of talent. Like whatever everybody says, like obviously I like Caleb Williams a little bit more than Justin Williams or Justin Fields right now, just because I think the ceiling's a lot higher.
He has more 300-yard games in his NFL career than Justin does, if you can believe that.
Yeah. And he's accurate too. Like he's doing good. Like yeah, he's throwing a lot, but at the same time he's completing a lot of them.
Bad coaching and turmoil all around him.
Right. So,
I hate how low it takes him to get going, though. Like
yeah.
He's a second-half player for sure. It's like, what's the psychology behind that? Why?
But I also wonder, like, because he's making those completions and stuff. Like this last week, like, so many of those balls that he threw that were incomplete were because they were dropped.
Yeah.
It's like,
No, I
why is the
agree.
coach not making a better scheme in the beginning of the game? Like, it just is crazy.
Because he had to do the defense now too,
Yeah.
and make sure they were all doing their thing. I don't know. It just seemed like I keep saying, it just seemed like it was too much. We weren't competitive at all against a bad 49ers team. The 49ers are not competitive.
Yeah.
Barely. I mean,
They're trying. I mean,
they
we're
look good
looking
against.
at the NFC West is up in the air at the moment still, which is crazy to me. That this late in the
Yeah.
season, it's still like, who's gonna end up with that? Because especially for them, like I could see that when you get like to your, a lot of times that happens with what the like NFC South or like the AFC South type of things, where it's like nobody really knows who's gonna win that division only because of the fact that they're just so bad most of the time. But like
Yeah.
for that one to not be settled is crazy. Like the Seahawks are 8-5, the Rams are 8-6. Like that's crazy that these teams are nobody
Right
really
up there,
knows
aren't
who's
they?
coming
Or
out.
of a losing streak, but they were right in that battle for a minute too.
Yeah.
So like
Uh,
the only odd ones out in that. They were kind of the Bears of NFC West.
yeah. By the way, Kyler Murray is 0-3 since the map dropped on Warzone.
The math is mathing on.
That's so
Why,
wild every time.
dude? I need to hold us to somebody. EA, can we coincide these drops with when the Cardinals play the Bears? You look like a superhero against us.
Yeah. Well, he knew that the game was coming up, so he'd have to.
He's all excited and stuff, hopping around, completing all of his
That is
passes.
so wild, though, that it just goes hand in hand together.
Wow. He's just up until 3 a.m. Probably a freaking mouse and key guy. Um,
Got a secret Twitch channel that his coaches don't know about.
Minnesota does have an amazing kicker, Will Reichard from Alabama.
Yeah, that's
Highest
back
score.
now.
Yeah, and he missed his first. I put him back in on my fantasy team immediately. He comes back, misses his first kick. I'm like, oh, geez, is his leg okay? Yeah. So that's where we're at on him.
He just rushed his injury because that guy that filled in for him has played so well.
Yeah,
It's
he's like,
like,
coach.
because that guy
Damn.
had a couple game winners. I mean, he had the one against us,
Yeah.
and he had another one that's like, okay, you're getting a little too comfortable, man. Like,
Yeah. It's like, why aren't you on a team? Because there's a lot of dudes that aren't making kicks
right.
all around the league. It's like an epidemic this year, actually.
Yeah. We're seeing like the end of Justin Tucker, which is just crazy.
Yeah. That fell off quick, man.
Yeah.
Good season just last year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Now he's missing everything.
Those kickers, though, as soon as they get the yips, they're like impossible to get them.
Crosby was that way.
Yeah, but Crosby was just like the most inaccurate kicker, but like also the most clutch.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing in the
He
world.
he didn't make the regular, like, just easy kicks. He made the hard ones.
Yeah, and he would miss PATs all the time.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, the regular ones, like, during the game, but then the game-winning 54-yard field goal, it's like, yeah, no problem, in the wind and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, what happened with, I was looking at the non-active, and then what is, Tyler Scott? What's his injury? Do we know? Not that he plays that much. He's one of our wide receivers. Kind of, I think.
I'm not sure.
You said that Roshan Johnson had
Groin. Or
groin.
Roshan had concussion. Swift has a groin injury.
That's Which, I mean, we got no running game, so that's part of the issue.
I also noticed somebody was returning other than Pittman this week. I don't know what was going on there.
DeAndre Carter usually does it, and he got injured on one of them.
Oh, okay.
He did one kickoff return, and then it went to Blackwell. Looks like.
Oh yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah, that one stupid fumble that Williams had. They said it was a backwards pass or whatever. Annoying.
Yeah, I could see it both ways, unfortunately. I was like trying to look at it and be like,
Backwards pass, but they called it kind of incomplete right there.
yeah.
I think he called it actually a.
Because is it really like a backward pass if he's like in the motion of throwing it and he gets spun and it ends up backwards? That whole thing I don't really necessarily understand. And it didn't seem like the announcers did either because they were kind of confused as well.
Yeah, they
Because
started
they
talking
were
about.
like 100% that it was not going to come back on him.
Right. Yeah, that was annoying though. Nothing goes our way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that was just interesting.
And because of that game, I don't even want Shanahan as because they're saying like Bears could get Shanahan as a coach. You know, kind of rumbles and rumors floating
Yeah.
around in the world. And it's like I don't want this kid.
Yeah.
Challenging all the bullshit, showing off on us. Just 'cause he sees me, you ain't got to take out runs. We have on she one too, man. It's a break, dude. Quit throwing the kiddo, motherfucker.
Yeah. I get he's wide open 20 yards on the field. Don't look at him.
27 yards every time he catches it, but man, every drive,
At least once? Come on.
I'm like, how is he this open? Who are we putting on him? Is it just Nate Davis?
Yeah, I don't.
Who's covering this man?
Yeah, that's another thing I wrote down was like how crazy it was that every pass it took
Because
5 yards before somebody came and tackled him. Anybody, any of the receivers.
yeah. Like, how is he this open? I mean, I don't understand. Like, we're like, hey, we want to play soft zone. No, really soft as you can be. Like,
Yeah.
12 yards from the guy at all times. I don't understand. And is it because there's an injury? I mean, is it because Jaquan Brisker's not out there? Is it, like, because I noticed, like, Owens is getting a lot of playing time, and, they're floating in guys in and out of that secondary a lot more.
Yeah, and I mean Owens fills in really well, I would say.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
definitely
he's-
not
he's a-
Briskers, but he still fills in.
Yeah, I think he's a hard hitter.
Yeah. And actually goes for the ball every time. Like he'll try and rip that thing out.
Yeah, for sure. Let me tell them about Dead Threads real quick, and then we'll come back and talk about player stat trivia last week.
Sounds good.
See what we have there, and pick 'em games. Maybe college playoffs. See who you got.
Yeah.
Oregon can win it all. If you're all about expressing yourself through what you wear, then you gotta check out Dead Threads. They got the most wicked collection of t-shirts that scream individuality. Want vintage vibes with your favorite team? Dead Threads has a tee for every vibe and occasion, whether you're chilling at home, hitting the streets, or even hosting your own podcast. Use code BARELY for 10%. Dead Threads. Yeah. So I was looking at my notes from last week, and it's like I have trouble.
Yeah.
Trouble coming up with I think all of them this week.
Yeah,
Can't remember.
so it was 2, right? Yeah, 2 last week. The first one here was played at Colorado. Oh. What was that?
Yeah, go ahead. The quarterback one from UCLA, I think is the
Yep.
third one you had, or
Mhm.
I think I got that one. I
Okay.
think I know that one. Is that Cade McNown? Isn't
Yep.
that his name?
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's the only UCLA quarterback we've ever had.
Yeah, and he was a freaking head case.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I was also pretty young, but just like not really into his football as much as I am now. I was just right out of high school, so.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
he
at that
just-
point, I was for animation domination to come on.
Let's see. The other one, you had no idea who this one was?
The Colorado one,
Yep.
I could not that I could think of.
So it was
without-
Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah,
Colorado.
he was a
running back with 2,055 yards, was one of the best in college history. Uh,
Yeah.
21st overall in the 95 draft. Five NFL teams won XFL and one Canadian football. Won the Heisman in '94, and then was son of former Bengals running back Teddy Washington, who converted to Islam and changed his last name to Salam, one of the two, which is Rashawn Salam.
Rashawn Salam, yeah. Yeah, that make that obviously now,
Yeah,
They call him like the Rocket or something.
yeah, something
he
like
had a
that.
he went to Colorado, huh?
Yep,
I didn't know. I was kind of again. I was 15 then, so I didn't like get his. And it was the '90s, so it wasn't like the internet was readily available. You know what I mean?
right.
I had to watch a game, and he had to say his college and all that.
Yeah, watch. Hopefully, you got a highlight on ESPN or something.
Right. Exactly.
For this week's players, I asked you, like you knew, which year to go off of, and you shot out 2006 super quick. So found two players. I don't know if you'll get or not. So the first one is played at Fresno State for the Bulldogs. It was 78th overall in the 2004 NFL Draft. It was on two NFL teams. Is friends with Ocho Cinco and appeared occasionally on his dating show, Ocho Cinco: The Ultimate Catch. And caught a 99-yard touchdown pass from Gus Freode to tie an NFL record for the longest pass in NFL scrimmage game.
Hmm. I'm just like going through Rolodex of
Yeah,
player names.
he was on the
Fresno?
yep, he was on the 2006 team. Obviously a wide receiver, running back with a catch, but I would assume you would know that's more likely a wide receiver. So was
It's
on
not
that
Derek Carr.
2000 was on the 2006 roster. I can tell you his
Okay.
other NFL team as well if you'd like, if that might help.
I don't think it'll help, really,
It was the
honestly.
Vikings.
It's one of the three receivers.
Yeah. Let's see. For the other one,
I can't even
played.
remember the receiver on that team, to be honest with
We
you.
did one already.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember who it was either. I'm like drawing a blank on all the receivers in '06 now.
Like I'm trying to
Is
go
it
through the Rolodex. I forgot the whole Rolodex though.
literally it's just blank pages.
You're just
It's just
flipping through it like this all says nothing.
this was all in there at one point. Curtis Conway.
We did him already. Actually, did we
And
do two of them already on that team?
yeah.
So this is the
That's
last
funny.
receiver like left on the roster. You just gotta remember who that is.
I'll figure it out once I Google it.
The second one here is played for Vanderbilt. And played in 45 games. Was 166 overall in the 2003 NFL Draft, but was waived by September 10th of the same year. Uh, he was on two NFL teams, including the one that he was drafted by that he was released immediately. And I wouldn't do that to you. That's not the Bears that drafted. um,
That sounds like some bear shit to do,
yeah.
though.
Founded a company called
Why
Overdog.
do you waste a draft pick on a guy like that? What did he do?
I don't know. Unless he
You
like
gotta
was more injured than he like if he was like came out in the draft injured, like was one of those type of players like got injured late or something, and then
on a dude though. Wow.
yeah, because the Bears picked him up immediately and put him
Yeah.
on their practice squad. Um,
Hmm.
Founded a company called Overdog, which allows fans to compete against pro athletes uh, in video games over a mobile app. And then he replaced Urlacher after his season-ending wrist injury in 2009. That was one of his fun facts, which is crazy.
Hmm. No 09, huh? But he was on the 06 team,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he was a like sub-in linebacker at that time.
I don't know if it's a
But
guy.
then again, all I could tell you for linebackers was Briggs and Urlacher, and I would probably just kind of plug and place the third one most of the time, with just kind of the one that they picked up in the off season.
Hunter Hillemeyer?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because
He
he
was
was
a
just a
dog.
fill-in guy until, right?
Yeah.
But would fill in pretty well.
Yeah, for sure. Like there wasn't much drop off, I would say.
Kind of like
And he's
Jack Sanborn.
and he's probably a starter on most teams, but you got Urlacher and
Yeah,
Briggs. What the heck happened? Who drafted him?
the Packers.
Drop what?
Yeah, the Packers technically drafted him, and then he was waived, and it didn't say what he was waived for.
That makes me even happier, dude. I like him even more. Wow, that was a good one.
Yeah, you just have to figure out that first one.
That one clicked in my mind because like that was the only other guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That team. That was like Urlacher said they only ran like 3 defensive plays. They were just really good at them.
Yeah. Well, because you had obviously 2 of the best linebackers in the league between Briggs and Urlacher.
Yeah,
Your
in coverage.
corners, yeah, your corners were crazy good. You had Tillman, you had Vasher as a safety, who's also was always great. Like
Yep.
you just had great team. I'm forgetting his name, but was Tim Jennings on that? Right?
I
That's the right
believe.
name? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the corner opposite of Tillman,
Of
right?
Tillman. Yep.
Who never really got the recognition, but was also almost just as good.
But I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
because it's like there was a couple of years there. You know what I mean? That team was together.
Yeah. That seemed like it was a lot longer than it actually was, where that team was together.
Yeah.
Because
Because I mean, if you look at Kyle Orton and
Sexy Rexy.
Rex Grossman, it was a few years.
Yeah.
That offense
Did
was there.
Urlacher ever play with color? I can't remember. Was it like maybe 1 year?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I cannot remember if they were on the same roster ever.
I do not know. What did we have for pick'em games last week? Did I do anything?
We both went 2-2. Let's see. Last week you had picked the Titans, Vikings, Chargers, Steelers, and the Vikings and Steelers won. And I had picked the Titans, Falcons, Chiefs, Steelers. So both went 2-2. Did nothing for our leaderboard because we've been stuck with me behind by 1 for I think a couple weeks now. But this week I did pull up a couple. I think there's some good matchups this week. You got Steelers at Eagles, Bills at Lions, Cowboys at Panthers, and Dolphins at Texans. So, I mean, other than the Cowboys and Panthers, I just threw that one in there because every week I always feel like I throw in at least one just garbage, non-existent like meetings.
Competitively terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
performance, stats.
And Cowboys are actually underdogs in that Panthers game.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
So, Cowboys, Panthers, I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
Cowboys?
Yeah. I'm just.
Yeah, I've been picking them too.
I don't really have a reason why.
It's crazy. I mean, I think my reasoning is only that like it's crazy to think that like somebody's putting the Panthers ahead of anybody this year.
And their Cowboys are actually that bad.
Right. Like, and maybe
the league.
I'm dumb. Like that. It's crazy. I guess maybe I'm just living in the past of like it's crazy to think that the Cowboys would be that bad.
Bryce Young looks better since coming back. I will say that.
Like he's was
I still don't think
scared to lose that job.
they don't really have an identity per se. You know, they're not like a physical run team, or you know what I mean. They're kind of by the skin of their teeth, similar to the Cowboys, I guess. Really,
Yeah,
with Cooper Rush
yeah,
at the helm.
that he's just. It's interesting. Let's see.
What up?
Next game is Steelers at Eagles.
I'm going Eagles just because I want them to win. Steelers have looked good though, and I have a $10 bet that the Steelers make it in the playoffs and lose the first game they play in the
That'd be
playoffs.
so funny. uh,
Um,
I have the Eagles as well. Saquon is just unstoppable, and he's going after Eric Dickerson's rushing record, so which is very plausible.
this is probably best year for him.
Yeah,
One of the
'cause he's
best years.
just pissed off
He's
the
been the
Giants.
most fun to watch. I mean, how bad is that? You went with Daniel Jones instead of him, money wise, and you don't even have him anymore.
Yeah. So he needs what? 1,000. He needs like 400 yards, 500 yards, and he gets it. Eric Dickerson's record.
1, 2, 3, 4 games left.
That's pretty plausible. Does it count for playoffs?
No, regular season.
No, it's just regular season. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, it's gonna be tough, but I mean, I feel like that's fairly plausible. Well, especially for him.
Well, and you think if you have a game where you go off and get 150,
Yeah. Now it's less than how many you need.
then yeah, if you can up your average a
I
little
will
bit,
say
then
Eric Dickerson did it in 16 though, right?
at least they might even been 14 because they kept adding games.
Yeah.
So
The Cheryl Swoops argument, just to. He needs to average 120.75 yards to beat it these last 4 weeks.
that's doable. Like
Yeah.
I said, I mean, you have 150, 200 rushing yard game, and then, you know, you really are knocking on the door.
I was looking up the Eric Dickerson stat to see if it would tell me how many games he played.
Hmm.
14. Yeah.
See, that's like
That's crazy.
yeah. I was just
OJ
looking
had
at
it
his
before him.
really.
Yeah.
Rushing average is 4.4 per yard, 90 rushing touchdowns.
That's it. That's Saquon's stats this year.
No.
Oh.
That's Dickerson's career.
Oh yeah, that definitely would not be.
If he had 90 touchdowns this year, it's like I don't care about single season rushing back. I was just looking at the yards because yeah, it's even crazier because 14 games, and I mean it was in the 80s, so dudes were literally like trying to punch you and
Yeah.
kill you when you're at the and stuff. And
And I mean, like that's some great running backs in that time period as well. Like, I mean, since then as well. Like, there's just been crazy running backs.
it used to be me all growing up, and this is only over the last decade. It became like the running backs have been like always the number top picks.
Other than like your
It was rarely ever a quarterback.
Derrick Henry, like anymore, it feels like the running back isn't like as big of a name. Like, yeah, you have your Josh Jacobs and them. Like, I mean, kind
But
of
I
there, but
mean, a number one pick be a running back anymore.
yeah.
It's quarterback or
The
unless
Giants were called crazy for doing it for Saquon, and that wasn't that long ago.
yeah. I mean, honestly, if I'm a team, I'm looking at Ashton Genty, Caleb Johnson. That's in the first
Yeah.
round.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever I need a quarterback because they probably really suck.
Right. I mean,
But
it's not that great of a quarterback uh, year this year.
no,
Because I mean, your top one is uh, Georgia
Jackson.
kid.
Oh,
Uh,
Carson,
yeah, Beck.
Carson, Carson Beck,
Yeah,
Carson
like
Wentz. I
he
know.
like
Carson
and
Beck
he
looks like a guy who plays a heroin junkie on a TV show. He looks like somebody on like a Netflix 13
one
Reasons
of the
Why type
few
of show.
people that looks more normal inside the football helmet than outside of it.
Yeah, I'm like, put the helmet on, dude. You look like
Yeah.
you've
It's
let
better
off
when we
heroin.
can't see the whole thing.
Yeah. So
Other games we still haven't finished. Keep
yeah.
getting sidetracked. Bills and Lions. Bills at Lions.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
I got Lions.
I'm going Bills.
I think the Lions are just at this point they're still saying screw it and go for fourth. Like that's
They
crazy.
they are toying with really good teams.
Yeah. Dolphins at Texans. I've got Dolphins. The
Uh,
Texans have been weird this year. I just can't figure them out.
dude, I think all the games some of the games they should. I mean, they would look like they're supposed to be a good team, so they're supposed to win a bunch of games, but
Yeah.
they just lose to weird teams.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Texans
Texans?
just to be opposite. Yeah,
Yeah.
just for funsies. You don't
Yeah.
expect them to
Those are
win.
games of the week. I think there's some fun ones in
Dolphins are a
there.
little. Yeah, there's some good ones.
Yeah.
From both ends of the spectrum, I think. Really,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be more competitive than watching the Bears on Monday night
Yeah.
in front of the world. Hey, maybe we see some. I would love to see some.
Yeah, it's because it's not like the team isn't good. It just seems like there's just no leadership.
If it, man, air it out.
Yeah. Somebody's down there,
Just get,
throw it deep.
yeah. Who cares? Make Sam Darnold throw that thing.
Yeah.
Because if they're playing from behind, that team is way different. I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
Yeah. They
That's
panic.
when they look the bad is when they've had to depend on Sam Darnold to make clutch throws.
Yeah.
I think he sees ghosts sometimes. I see dead people out there, Coach. Well, quit throwing it to them because those aren't people.
Yeah. Those aren't your teammates.
Let me talk about Fanatics real quick, and then we'll say, I want your pick on who do you think is going to win the national championship. And we'll get out of here.
Hey guys, just want to take a break from the podcast to tell you about Fanatics. Fanatics, you can find everything you need to support your team, from jerseys and hats to hoodies and accessories. We've got it all. It's officially licensed, so you know you're getting the real deal. Here's the best part. We've teamed up with Fanatics to bring you an exclusive offer. When you use the code 24SHIP at checkout, you'll get free shipping on orders over $24. Just by using our special link in the show notes on our website, you'll be able to directly support our podcast. So head over to fanatics.com, load up the best Bears gear, and use code 24SHIP for free shipping on orders over $24. Win-win. To show off your Bears pride and help keep Barely Maintaining going strong. Thank you for your support, and as always, bear down. Now let's get back to
All right. Yeah. So, who is your pick for the national
Just
championship?
completely. Just completely
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, the whole
who's
street
winning it.
match.
All right.
Just your gut instinct now.
Gut
Why is
instinct says. I mean, Oregon. It's gonna be tough to beat Oregon.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I mean, really, you
I
got to
will
roll with
say
Oregon.
though, looking at the like overall thing, like they kind of get screwed for being
they?
the number one, because like they play Ohio State or Tennessee.
Yeah. They already beat Ohio State.
Yeah. I think they
I-
easily can again.
I feel like I don't know why I feel like Ohio State's imposters. I just don't know why. I just don't trust that coach. I don't think.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
stood there and watched players lose their mind on the field. And just did nothing.
and look
while those-
panicked. Just like
Yeah,
looked
well, maybe-
lost.
It's like, come on, man, do something. Like, Take some leadership, you know.
Do you think Ohio State lets him keep being coach if like if he doesn't bring home the national championship or loses in the first round even? Uh, that they even
I
are like, hey, you
break
can't make the national.
out of the round.
Yeah, because like you
He's got to get.
can't
Yeah,
you
and they have
can't
a
win in
reason.
the playoffs and you're losing to Michigan every year.
And
That's like so meaningful to them.
his record is like 40-4 in the Big Ten, and the 4 losses are just to Michigan or some shit. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Like they have his number, and it's like the Bears and Green Bay. It's like that's only people we got to beat to me for right now.
yeah,
Let's start there.
right.
Beat him once out of the 2 times we play him. Beat him once. You know. So for Michigan, that's like the biggest rivalry in the country, besides like Army Navy. I mean, for me, it's Alabama Auburn. You know, probably the Red River rivalry, the Texas Oklahoma one, that sort of stuff. But that's one of the big ones.
Yeah. You know who I like in the college football playoffs, but I think them getting a bye week kind of screws them? Is Arizona State. Because they've been really,
Yeah,
really hot, and the last thing you want to do is like not be playing when you're
they're
super hot.
those matchup nightmares teams.
Yeah.
Like they were a matchup nightmare for Iowa State. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I don't know who they play, but
It'll either be Clemson or Texas. If it's Clemson, they wipe them. If it's
I think
Texas, that's tough.
I mean for Clemson, but Texas, I don't think they have a chance.
Yeah, I think Texas is wiping Clemson, though.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
don't think that's even close. I think Clemson's lucky to be there. Just because they won the ACC, I think they kind of get in.
Texas is like, I think the Texas don't like. It felt like the SEC did not want them to win the championship. Like they were calling everything
Yeah.
against them or Georgia in that game. And I'm not a Texas fan. I mean, Texas routinely beats Alabama for some reason over the last few years. Sarkisian just
Did you
knows what's up.
see what Utah tweeted out? Utah College?
Oh,
They were like, oh, it doesn't take being just in the Big Ten or the SEC to win championships. And then we're riding the coattails of like the Pac-12 teams that left. So like they were in the Pac-12 obviously at one point, and then they're like, but mind you, Utah went like 5-6 or something like that. And they're like, oh, they should have stat where like Oregon and Texas are up at the top, like after leaving the Big 12. It's like, one, the Big 12's never really been in question because they get in. Like TCU was in a couple years ago. Like,
Power 5 conferences and Pac-12 ain't one of them anymore.
no, like even the teams from there, like that lower half of the Pac-12 was awful.
ACC, right? That's basically it.
Yeah.
Football competitiveness.
Honestly, anymore, it's really like, I mean, look at the playoffs, like Big Ten and SEC, and then you sprinkle in some other teams.
Dogs and ACC and Big 12, I think, are kind of the next tier.
Yeah, and
And then Pac-12 is done, man.
Yeah.
Literally, you had schools that are on the West Coast joining the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. NCAA. I get it though. You want to be competitive and you want the big show. You got to be in the big conferences.
Yeah.
And Big Ten and really a lot of Big Ten this year, and the SEC is kind of it, you know.
Right. Because
other than those winners from the other power conferences.
You guys got 4 in there. Yeah. So it's Big Ten has 4, SEC has 4, and then it's the ACC has the 2, and then Big 12 just has the 1. And then Boise's like Mountain West or something, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Notre Dame's just independent because they freaking Notre Dame, and I hate them.
Yeah, there's only a couple schools that are independent anymore. I think Connecticut's one of them, and Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Or Delaware, somewhere on the East Coast there. So that wraps up our 23rd episode. We will be talking about hopefully a win on Monday night, but we'll see. Honestly, I won't be disappointed if we don't, because at this point we're shopping for coaches and for draft picks. 3 in the top 50 might be nice, especially for a new coach. Bill Belichick said the most attractive job in the NFL is the Chicago Bears head coaching job. Because you got a lot of talent already there.
And signed up for a few years.
Yeah, exactly. Special thanks to Julie Burhite and to Brian for giving us the time to do this. We've done this 23 weeks in a row. And while our lives bring us all over the place, we keep coming back to one spot every week to make sure we talk about this team that we love and that just continually disappoints us. But what else do we have to talk about? Maybe someday it'll be them being good. It's funny, though, because I can still hear Kansas City Chiefs fans on the radio talking crap about their team. And, you know, it don't matter if you're good. You still got complaints. We always like to say, sleep tight to Richard Tompkins. He's listening while he sleeps. And next week, I hope we can talk about a win. It'd be nice to have
at least a close game. Let's just hope for a close game.
Nah, a blowout. Caleb, 5 touchdowns, 3 in the first half, just all air yards. 300 passing yards. It'd be 300 passing yards to 4 for Sam Darnold in the first half. None of this is going to be true, but, you know, tune in next week.
In hopes.
Yeah. Watch our hopes and dreams die with this team.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you next week.